Let me know, what session is this for you? Is this your first session? Is this your second session? 50th? The last? No, I take all comments, you know. Second, third. Okay, so we got people that have jumped in, a couple of them. First, technically, Suresh, yeah. Wow. Give a round of applause, Gerard. Sixth session. Amazing. This is great. Today is a really good one. I see we have many people that have come to a couple. So it can become, we've had about six altogether. So people have taken about half of these. If you have attended two or three, which have you attended? Is it all image? Is it video? Is it all the vibe design? Is it all business apps? Is it a mix? Is it web apps? Which ones did you attend? One of each. Okay, mix of all. All righty. So this teaches us a lot, right? It gives me knowledge that covering these subjects and the variety of that we are is helpful to everybody. But what do you think? How have you enjoyed it so far? Has it been good? Has it been, eh? Are you happy to be here? Are you coming back? Just open the floor a little bit as we get into today. Hey, amazing. Loved it. Okay, I appreciate y'all. Team it was a countdown. How far, how soon or how long before we get to Team You can't start, it's not an official Gen AI Works production without the Team I appreciate everybody. But the other piece of this is we couldn't do it without this team. And we've kind of really had to get to task because we started off with just intending to pre-launch the course. So just get a feel for the audience goals. We had ran courses already for multiple months on our previous LMS, but this was a kind of trial run. But the response you brought to us really brought us an opportunity to get into gear. So I give a shout out to Paula, Nagar, Maria, Josna, the whole team, everyone who was involved with this course circuit. Josna is no longer with us. She's going on to a new opportunity. But we have a phenomenal team that put this together. So give a shout out to her as well for her time and just to get her contributions. Nagar is on the call. She's on late from Azerbaijan. So that means she's calling in nighttime. So give a shout out to her. And then Paola jumping in just whenever we needed the hero to save the day, like just special. So, I mean, I have an easy job comparatively to the work that this team puts together to make this happen. So I get to have fun with every one of you. So, as far as today's session, we're going to go through the content a lot faster, meaning we're going to focus in, but there's going to be less content overall. I know the last few sessions we went over an extra 30 minutes. It was amazing. Everyone stuck around. Literally, it was like mind blowing. But, I want to make sure I make the most of everyone's time. So I'm going to pack less into this today and open more room for questions. And the way I do that is I'll share 4 or 5 steps to do, or like ways to do something, or 3 ways to do something, and then just show you one way. And then if we want to talk about another way, we can come back to it. But all this comes because you let us know that, you wanted to know what's next and you want to be a part of that what's next. So whatever courses we create, there has to be some way to convert what you learn into what you can do. And that what you do today in the general world of just AI tools and learning is kind of loose. Like you can learn a bunch of stuff, you can get access to some tools, but there's no place where you can like showcase your work and actually become the celebrity of your space or that thing or that industry. And that's something we really wanted to, take from you and bring to life with what we have with our large following and our presence in the market. So what this means is we are building, and you'll see this updates coming into the platform real soon. Um, the ability for you to showcase your work. So everything you're going to learn in a course in Gen AI Works, you can learn it in our course, get access to tools like we did with the cool in the AI in 5. So you get, subsidized ability to do it. And then you get the ability to get your work published where you can post it and get it submitted. And once it's posted on our platform, then we can promote you actually. So we can send, great works that are done, phenomenal projects that get a lot of likes from our community that bubble up. Those could be ones we promote on our LinkedIn. So I'm excited because we're really at the opportunity of creating a new lane for us. And it's ageless. Doesn't matter what career you had before, what role you are, where you are in your career, because it's about the outputs that we're all producing in an industry or a space that's only 2 years old. No matter who you are in the world, vibe coding and vibe design in this way has only been around 2 years. 3 years max in the consumer grade. And so that puts everybody on an equal playing field. And we're going to run with it. So I would love to spend more time on this, and really kind of walk through and answer questions that people ask about how do we participate? How do I go from a consumer to a producer? But that's the core goal here is we launched this thing that we're doing now to support your journey from, yeah, I just got introduced to generative AI to I'm actually a publisher. So I just kind of went over this. I know some people attended maybe 2 or 3 times, didn't get all of them. I want to really bring it back home for you what this is about, uniquely different than you might just get taking any kind of Coursera course. That's just any kind of pre-recorded, just up there course. But the today's session of the three is really focused in on continuing some of the things we've done with Vibe Design. So this is meant to be by its own. You can do it by itself. You don't need to connect it. But it does, if you do know about the stuff or you did attend the previous ones that were image and video, you'll be able to tie some extra things together. So it is built for wherever you are in that journey. All right, so let's get to it. I think there's a couple things in here. Somebody said in the chat, several people were in the Google room listed on the calendar invite. I don't know what that means, but hopefully, if everyone's in, if we have to let somebody in, like in the waiting room, let me know. But as far as the scope here, you all have been to a couple sessions. What do you want to get from today? Like when it comes to specifically around image and video, I got some exciting stuff to share, but I love to always ask up front, what are you hoping to get out of today? And see, Paola raised her hand. Record read. Some good stuff here. Great feedbacks. Recognizing the lingo, being a few sessions in to absorb. Yeah, that is pretty cool. Once you start to click it and you just hear it maybe 2 or 3 times, oh, you're really savvy at this point. And that's really the fun part of this. It really starts to click. Didn't get the survey for October session. Yes, we'd love to see that. We got that queued up. It's coming today. We had some things we were working on there to make sure everyone had the right link. So you'll be able to get access to it. So we decided to actually put it on YouTube, private link. So you'll be able to see it that way. And we could put all of them in a playlist together. So there was a little bit of just logistics, but just to make it easier for everybody no matter if you're like new or this is your first one or last one, you can just jump into that stream. That was some of the extra work there. Shout out to Paola for that work. I'm gonna read just a couple more questions people might have, and then we'll get to it. Apply in the daily work. Oh yeah, for sure. Social images. These are some stuff you're gonna get today. Learn more about producing, editing images. Boom. Ready to sell stuff. Melissa coming with the truth. Okay, let's go. Yes, you will be able to leverage these things to really bring commercial value. I've seen it in my own work life. Um, Help the learning, the top ways to vibe, from apps to prompts, going down the rabbit hole to the MCU. Very amazing. Good call. Uh, Tons more. I'll come back to these. These are great feedbacks. I appreciate everybody. So, as far as what we're going to cover today, I figured let's cover one item. Well, I kind of stretch. It's two, but it's really one, and that's creating your own Omni guides. This is very much the hack that every one of us can make for each other. We could change each other's lives. Imagine how many people we got on this call. What is this? 40 people. If 40 people, if each of us like learn this and make some of these and then share them, that 40 times, let's just say we each make, you know, five of them, the numbers are growing pretty fast. That's a lot of resources. And what that means is when you go to work on something, you can go to the showcase and see other people's Omni guides that they've made. So when you want to make a tutorial for your product, now that you've created a web app, you can go look at someone's Omni guide that's for putting in tutorials. And all you got to do is use that guide and then put it into the agent and tell it the vibe code using these standards. So we'll literally be able to freeze dry features and give them to each other. Like, unpack what that means. Like, if we lean in, this group of people alone, that's not include anyone else, we can truly change what's possible. Because anytime you do that for any industry, like if I'm a coder, I go to Stack Overflow or I go and look up on Reddit or I go look at places where people have had that same technical issue. If I'm a Salesforce developer, I go look at the repository and has anyone built something like this before? Are there any examples? We're making that for ourselves. So collectively, we can build something special. And I shout out to Charles. I mean, it's like, it's not a joke. And that's what we're here for. So yes, you can get courses everywhere. Yes, you can go try and get after these tools, whip out your wallet and buy every tool. But what we're trying to condition here is a place where you got a live stream to the latest news because we do continuous learning. And so this is a key part of it. So this is why I chose this today. These are our last two sessions this week of the Vibe sessions. And so we'll be wrapping up this series and we'll be putting it all online on our academy. But this is where we really set the floor of opportunity for each other. Now think of video as on top of this, like what we produce and actually publish, like what videos and web apps and business apps, those sit on top of what's possible. And that's really the ability for us to either monetize, create your own product, create your own brand. All that's possible, but it starts with this thing here today. So let's run. Okay. So for those that are new, I think most people are here. Is there anybody that's first session? I think there's maybe one person, two people, first sessions. Don't know what vibe design is. Shout out to Lord Suresh. Okay, I thought I saw Suresh before. So okay. Wow. Shout out. We have to bring Nico on for the audio session sometime. You made 5 albums? Yeah, imagine you could just like if you did curate it, you could just publish albums to different streaming services as different types of artists. I imagine there's gonna be one day like the way there's like DJs. There could be record label DJs where they have a record label of their own artists that they've made, and then they mix them and collaborate them on songs and everything. Like, there's no rules. It's crazy. And so shout out to Nico. Interested in you bringing you on. Let's get a Paula, get him email. Nico, share all that kind of good stuff. It'll be fun. But that's what I think this is all about. I really wanted to call that out because that's what we're here able to do. We can really use this as a launching pad. So vibe design is about really a mix of playing with different image and video. And I recommend you just learn both because it's kind of like learning the principles of colors in paint and how to combine colors to make every color possible from the primary colors. If you know all the ways to like convert images into text back into images or like video into text into video or video to image back to text, like whatever versions, the more you can like experiment with that, it's the exact same as playing with primary colors. But the primary colors aren't red, yellow, blue. They're video, image, and audio. And there's other elements to this than when you think of software where it fits in like functionality. There's more to that frame, but just at a simple level for what we're covering today, we're talking about how you can leverage these different tactics and just get familiar with them And then from that, you can leverage them for advertisement. You can leverage them for like family reunions, like fun, interesting things you can do to, to make the games and fun at, the dinner time at Thanksgiving. Like all kinds of fun things that are possible to business, all the way to like professional, all the way to experimental. So let's lean in. With all that, you have two of these already. I've given you two of these. I'm gonna give you the link again. I'll put it in the chat. Well, I'll show you how to get to it. So if I go here and I switch and go to Academy, you'll see if you just go to the Gen AI Academy or academy.genai.works, you'll see that we have more courses that are being added every day from our previous sessions that we had. But if you go to that AI in 5 course, that's where you'll be able to get to that resource. And so right now, if I go to my courses section, you'll see all the courses that are there, and you'll see that we have AI in 5. This AI in 5 core structure is where you all remember. So nothing new, everything is the same. So if you haven't looked back in a while, you go to the course hub, you'll see it has a section called recordings, and then you can get to the additional resources. By clicking this, I'll then be able to see all the different resources. And in here, you'll see some of the previous resources we gave were these Omni guides. And so these kind of give a example tutorial you can give when you're sending a prompt to an LLM to ask it to generate a better quality image. So I can say, here's my what I want, but then follow the rules of this image tool to enhance what it looks like. And it's this kind of documents that today you're going to learn how to make your own. And so this same idea of essentially what's called staking, we talked about throughout web and business apps, it's all kind of the same concept of staking. You're going to be creating staking, you're going to be staking documents on different ways to generate images based on what you're trying to achieve. You're trying to do an advertisement, then you create a set of assistant prompts for that advertisement, what it's going to look like, what it's trying to achieve, and then you can take those different documents in different pieces and feed them to the prompts when you need them. And so we're going to take a look at that. Let's jump in for the first two. And then from an output perspective, you're going to be able to make your own versions of these. So I'm going to go back here, start here as far as view. I'm going to switch screens. See if we're here. Okay. So the first one we have is video. So to create video Omni guides, there's three that I'm going to show. Well, it's two ways I'm going to show you. There's three to do, but there's two that I'm going to speak about, and we'll just cover one today. But one way is if you take any video, and you just pull up the video and then click play and take screenshots as the video plays. Take maybe 4 or 5, maybe 6 or 7, whatever scene you're looking at, take multiple screenshots in that scene. What that's going to let you do is then you've just converted that video into image shots. And those image shots are almost like a sequence, can then be used to ask the AI to make more images. Because, like, say I'm in a video and I'm like talking, my face is animating, I'm doing things. It's learning by each picture what it wouldn't have learned if I imported the video. Now, there are video converting tools that exist on the market where you can import actual video files and it can read that. But I found that just like to make it work with anybody's tool, if I can go video to image, then it's fair game. Because then I can just load in a bunch of images along with my prompt and say, extract the essence and then create this kind of setup. And so what you're doing is you're extracting the images from the video, and it's literally as simple as that. Like you're just copying and pasting um, the images into ChatGPT from a video clips, and then you're asking it to make new pictures like it or describe it. So I might then, once it gives me a new picture, or I describe it, I'm gonna add context by putting more text in there. So just to like break it down, the step at the end for step three is going to be the same for everyone. You're going to ask it to make an Omni guide of whatever you want it to do, but the core process of step one and two will vary based on your approach. And so just to show you, snapshot extractions, very straightforward. You just take pictures as you're using the video and you paste those pictures in the chat GPT and then ask it to break it down or give you another example of one. Once you get that, you take all of that stuff together, you feed it back in, and then say, can you create a guide for this? What you're doing is called recursive prompting. You're taking what you did before. Well, it's sequential prompting, but we're just doing a sequence of things, but it's recursive in the way that like you're taking the output from each step and loading it into the next step. So I take what's in one, once it's output, I then take those pictures and then put that in step two. Then I take those pictures and the extra context and things it's made for me and then put that into step three. Is everyone following? I want to make sure I pause for a second there. Anyone confused? Ask questions. No questions too small. It gets easier from here. Okay, that's great. That's the hardest one. I figured if I lead with the most abstract one, then maybe I can make sure I do right. Now the next one is a little bit in name sounds crazy, but it's most common of what you've been doing already. We already do this. This one is where you can find some source media that you want. So, like, say I love Spike Lee cinematography with the dolly zoom, the reverse dolly zoom. Um, for those that don't know, dolly zoom is like a certain type of camera trick where you make it feel like angst and excitement, but like intrigue by the way you pull the camera versus the scene and the subject. Yeah, I have never been the videographer like behind for by trade. I don't know. I've only learned this through experimentation. And that's again that do by learning, learning by do approach that you're going to be so helpful here. But I've learned about these things just by researching what is the styles that I like of the movies I like. So every one of you on this call have a movie that you like or a show. List it in the chat. What's your favorite movie or show? And we'll call back to it later when we show an example here. You can throw that in. But the idea is I'll take whatever that show is and then I'll ask the AI to take the style of that. So let's just say I like Dragon Ball Z. I'll say, and for those who don't know, or I like something like Cheers, or my favorite show is um, something that is a certain cartoon style. Like I like anime, like that. These are all opportunities for you to essentially not, try to be 100% in like, I want this to be a Spike Lee flick. No, no. What you're saying is like, what is the sub tactics and tricks being deployed that make up that core brand? And when you start to break a style or a, a way of doing things into its sub elements, then you're really able to leverage the elements that tie. And so by nature, you're letting AI do that work for you by saying, take some elements of this, take some elements of this, and then generate breakdowns of how to recreate those. Now, we went over that in session one, where we talked about how to take the essence of an image. It's the same concept where I could take the essence of two source media. So like ask the AI, what is like the style that powers the movie Boondock Saints or powers the movie Aladdin? And they'll talk about there's these tropes or these styles or these things that Disney movies do. And then you can say, I want to take those styles and then create a new version in that elk. And again, there's an ethical piece here that everyone asks questions on. Like, are you stealing an artist's style? Or are you generally, or are you are you like, but there's an even deeper level of this that is where creativity exists, period. Which is we're all mimicking and remixing stuff we've already seen. That's how like humanity works. So there's rarely any creativity that's outside of the box completely. Like that doesn't like to exist is to be in the box in a way when you really think about it. And that really brings you to like why AI is so profitable in the way that it, why is OpenAI like as even ChatGPT and what it does, the potential of what it is, and even all these models, why is it valuable? It's because it is the same creativity of human creativity is the same as AI creativity in a way. Now we have more range because we can pull from more theaters, meaning I can pull from my life experience. I can pull from a book that I read. I can pull from something I saw on TV. I can pull from a story I heard from a friend. I can pull from all dynamics of where I am in life as a human in more dynamic ways than a computer in today. But it's really a math function, and it's called a quotient. I try not to go too deep, into technical terms so everyone can follow. But think of it like a multiplication table of 5 times 5. So you have five potential things times five potential. That total probability number of every possible number, of the highest all the way to the lowest, that is that probability. And so just kind of bringing it to what this is, you are trying to, take the general probability that made that thing and combine it and splice it with yours. And if you look at that way, that level, and you do it right at that level and keep your ethics, you're not just like, doing anything cheap or like nothing outside of like, but this whole place is where creativity comes from. So it's a fair way to apply these tools that people are adopting today. And so, you'll see me kind of walk through one now together. So this is one that I'm working on. I'll play the video just so you can see. This is for a project that I'm working on, essentially to take a story from my family and my father who fought in the Vietnam War, um, and really tell like what was going on in America at that time, right prior to that Vietnam War surge in 1964. And it was my dad and like three, four guys. They were all into muscle cars. This was happening all over America. But like why people loved that time period of cars is because that's when people were drag racing and they were like tinkering their cars. It was like imagine being an engineer and then like having style and swag and then like competing against each other. It was the ultimate cool. So like the guys would buy the cars because cars were like 6,000, $2,000, $5,000, and then they would kit them up and then like not just kit them up on style, but mainly performance, and then drag race them. And so they would go into the lots and meet at White Castles and actually do this. So I'll tell you all this story is like that lore. The better I can capture that lore, and you're gonna see it today, the better I can capture that lore and convert between things, that's what's going to let you deliver. All right. So we got 8 minutes left. It looks like it says we only got 8 minutes time left. I don't know what that is, Paula. I'm about to throw you in the mix here. I know I wasn't supposed to surprise you. I know you're working on some stuff, but it says 8 minutes left. I don't know what that means. So we might all get kicked out in 8 minutes. Okay. Nagar's on it. Shout out to Nagar. We're on it. My team is phenomenal, man. Special. We got 8 minutes, but we'll see what happens, y'all. So stick around if we get dropped. Okay, but yeah, this is such a key element. So image extraction is what you're going to see me do an example of after this. But I'm just going to cover them, and then you can kind of tell me in the chat which one you want us to cover. We can dig into one together by choice. But image extraction has three ways we could talk about, and one of them is one you learned already, just by taking the essence of an image, literally loading the image and ask it to take the essence. And again, we have a prompt for that. If you want to know where that is, it's in the additional resources like we showed before. And I'll just show everyone again, just so everyone can see the actual file. If I go here and then go here, I can pull up. There's a document in here that's called example prompt. And this is for creating web business app. Oh, I forgot to add video. That's me. Put that in there. So this document here is going to be the third tab on the left. You'll see it. There's multiple tabs. These are all the business prompts that we shared from the previous. These are the web ones that we shared. We're going to be adding more on the next session. And then this is for this one, some documents that break down some of the things I'm going to share with you today. So I'm gonna speak to it, but you'll be able to come to it and get an example of like what does a prompt that sets the setting for a scene look like. And you'll see, and again, I don't have the time to go into full depth of each one. I just want to give you more you can have. If everyone wants more sessions, we can continue them on after the week. But right now, giving you as much as I can with the little time. I'm not going to cover everyone, but imagine you have the documents for a scene. You have the documents essentially that cover an individual shot or location within your set of scenes. Now, this is again video, but you get how it applies the same to images. So if I want to generate a character and then select myself and then put myself in multiple different scenes, I can then define those scenes and then define that character. And then what you're doing is you're kind of freeze drying them, almost like converting them into text, where literally you are. You're like we showed last time, you're converting them into text, and then you're exporting them from text back into image or back into video. And so once I document like what was the atmosphere, your question you say like you don't want the AI to get confused, but when done right, you give it enough understanding to not hallucinate. It's an art, it's a lot of science, but underneath the hood, you're getting real examples of how to do it. So I also give you one of the characters in that story is the guy named Lodell that you saw in the image. This is his story. Now, this has been kind of obviously I mixed and changed stuff up to make it more like interesting, things like that, kind of blended different characters from my dad's time, experience, and story. But the concept is really clear. And I'm sharing my actual example just so you really get every person here can do this. And you're all going into Thanksgiving if you're in America. Um, and holidays in general across the world. There's opportunities, birthdays, something where to tell someone's story. So it's always fun if you can incorporate a life story and showcase it to people. There's some great stuff there. But the point at hold is that these resources are available to you. And they'll also break down like real examples of how you cover things like character arcs, motivations. And by giving it that detail, you'll be able to pull this in to make a picture like different. So like if I make a picture and I want the person's face to have the right facial expression, it's this worldview that actually helps it. It's subtle, but it does a lot. So I know I covered a lot. I didn't get to show you in action. So I wanted to give you a chance to see these different options instead of like maybe last sessions I'll show each one to you in detail one by one. So the next one again I'll cover and then we'll open up the floor the next two here. Um, Scene description is just taking that text that I showed that you got to see here and then using that text to then literally generate the scene. So if I say generate an image based on this text, that's when you would get that result. Now, if I do that and I generate some scene images, I can then say, break down those images. And give me more detail. And then can you make the characters do this? So I'll show you an example right now of one, but you notice the process is still the same. Step one, step two, Omni Guide. Step one, step two, Omni Guide. And just like I can do video splicing, I can do image splicing. So I can literally do the same thing where I say, take this advertisement or these different like images or shots from movies, whatever you've seen that are really cool or interesting to you, and take that style the same way we did the magazine covers. We've already done this. You've done some of this. So you've learned and done already um, staking and gene splicing. But now we just explained it and did it a little bit more together. For those that are here, shout out to everyone that made it through. I mean, the perseverance of this community, it keeps me inspired. So, we're gonna get better. We're gonna get our systems, running smoother. The team is doing amazing, just making it happen with all things considered. So I'm gonna go ahead and get back to where we were sharing, and then maybe walk through the actual example next here. Okay, so I'm gonna reshare just this screen. There we go. Okay, so for this one, I'm going to show you an example here, and you can actually download it. The link again, this is in the resources. In that same spot you are, you'll see a protagonist cheat sheet. This is something you can make, and there's a lot of people that have different versions of this. You can. This is not like a uniquely like hidden thing. People have been doing this even before AI existed, of like showing here's when people would in Hollywood go to pitch a movie, they would make a flyer that shows like, and they would probably have somebody with a bunch of good graphic design show the main people they want to do the acting in the outfits or the styles, and they'll use that as part of the way to show this is what it can look like. Like imagine we can do Super Mario, and we can have John Leguizamo play Mario. We can have this person play this, and so they'll do that like casting, and then like people got more sophisticated in that, and they'll do these like casting sheets where they would show like what the movie could look like with these four people as the main actors, and if we can't get them, then these actors. So it just that whole thing is what you're doing for the AI. Think of yourself for every image you make or video you produce as the director pitching to a studio. If you take that core concept, you're good. Like literally that main analogy will get you going. And the structure there of like how really is simple when you think about it. So what I'm doing on the left here, what you're seeing is I'll create an image that shows what my main characters look like. And I might make this one card and then have 5 to 12 different cards that are like, there's one card that just breaks down Lodell and his character, or the guy with the wrench, Bobby, breaks down his character and goes into detail. So it's like multiple shots of him in different settings, maybe with different looks and different facial expressions. You can go crazy with this. And then imagine if I give you this card and then I give you my essence of my image essence, you can recreate high fidelity versions of that thing. Imagine with just this is where I say we get powerful together. With us 32 that's here, if we all worked on one project, we could generate a full movie or a full short series very rapidly, because it wouldn't be like we all have to wait if we were doing it individually. If I'm doing it individually, I have to wait for it to generate each video. It might generate multiple at a time. I just got to wait. But we can bulk develop. We can collective generate, which is what we saw when we did the course AI in 5. We collectively generated 3,000 images and videos, and some of those videos were just roasting the ums. We had the videos, and those were just great to see us again, even roasting the meta of our own course. So what I do want to put in front of you is like it's this idea of making images and text that lets you essentially freeze that idea or that concept at a dimension below the other one. So, for example, text is one dimensional. I have to read it from top to bottom to understand it. So, like generally one dimensional, it can be abstracted, but it's one dimensional. So, if I freeze dry an app to one dimensional, that's going from like 4 or 5 dimensions all the way down to like just some text. It's the same concept that applies for if I'm looking at this for image to video. A video is pictures over time. So it's 3D, it's 2 dimensions, height and width, and then over time. So it's 3D, but a picture doesn't change. So it's 2D. So you're literally think of it as you're freezing things to a lower dimension to then extrapolate them on site. Like this is a whole new way of thinking that's going to change how we compute, how the internet works. Imagine if I don't need to send you the movie, I just send you some pictures and some text, and then your computer generates the movie on spot. Like, do y'all like that's crazy, right? Like that is where we are. And you all are with me. We're pioneers of it. So as we make that Halloween mixtape and you share your prompts, we can then generally make Halloween mixtapes. We all got access to Halloween. This is like Star Trek was with the fabricator where they could make any product or food or whatever. We can make any software thing, whether it's image, video, or apps. And the amount and the complexity and the amount of detail is only going to get bigger and bigger. There's arguments for caps, but it's truly interesting what's possible. So, again, you notice today's session was a little bit different. I didn't go deep in any one of these. I essentially wanted to cover the ground. And then I'm going to open the floor for the last 15 minutes here. And if we want to share thoughts or if you want me to walk into any one of these, I can do one of them or two of them live on the call together. So let me know in the comments. I'm gonna go ahead and walk through each of them. Do you want me to do an image example where it's one of these three? So I'm gonna leave this up. You can, if you feel like you want to vote for one of these, put this, put it in the chat. Yeah, you can ask questions. We can spend it how we want. So I'll maybe do one, and then we'll open up questions too. So let me do, and then this is the video options. Y'all say image. Everyone wants to do image. Let's do image. Okay, so image is really easy, actually. So I'll do an image one really quickly. And then we'll open the floor up for questions. So we're going to do this here. I'm going to switch my share screen to ChatGPT. Everyone can see ChatGPT now? Everyone can see that? Okay. So what I'm going to do now first is like recreate a scene. And you'll see this. I'm going to the example prompt that I shared that link again before. It's in the resources. You'll be able to get to that. That same document, I'll take that text and I'm pasting the scene. This is the second one we talked about. This is scene, using a scene or subject description to generate. And so in this scenario, I'm using the details of the location from the movie. So in that movie where my pops and all those uh, you know, uh, guys who were doing the work with their cars, they would go meet at these lots and then drag race each other. And then like they would compete with other people that would meet at the steak and shake lots. So like there would be these battles. And so sometimes they would link up and then go pull their cars up on the steak and shake lots and then go challenge them to races. And the steak and shakes were in like a different county. So it was a different like whole crews and styles and like, lineage of people that would be there, whether it was the Italian immigrants that came over or some of the Irish immigrants, different like cultures, that blended in St. Louis. And this happened all across America. So again, this timepiece is what I'm baking in there. I'm talking about how it was a cultural hub for car culture at that time. So I really want to just make sure you get like it's more the story that you can understand and frame for that world that makes it really rich. And so you see, I put in some stuff like, plus cars were cheap. People would spend 5,000 for it, so that the AI understands there was this car culture, and it really gets it. And then from that, I can then say, generate me an image. So I just put that in there, and again, it'll kind of take it in there. Sometimes I just throw it in there randomly at first, just so it kind of gets a little kind of seasoning of the pot. Then I can say, because then it tells me what it knows. So he says, okay, this is the backdrop. Here's the atmosphere. Again, it's just kind of by nature of it rewriting it, it had to recontextualize. It's almost like the best way to learn is by teaching, that kind of thing. Well, in this scenario, now I can then say, can you generate an image using this scene essence? And I click create image, and I paste the same thing in. So I grabbed the wrong one. Grab this one, the latest one that it interpreted. Throw that in there. Boom. So what this is essentially giving you is a way to go from text to image. So while that's cooking, I'll do another one. Let's do this one here. And then so for this one, what you'll do is I'll be taking more resources. So I might actually download a whole bunch of stuff and throw it all into a project. So you see, again, in ChatGPT, you can do what's called create new projects, but that's just one of the things you can do. You don't have to use this, but the idea is like I could just throw in that same thing. So take a prompt that I had previously, throw that in there. But in this scenario, instead of asking to generate the image, I can ask it to, can you understand the style of the I want? And then that's going to get me cooking up some of the style. And then once it starts cooking up the style, and so you see how I was saying, here's some comparable films, I'm off to the races. Now, what it doesn't know is when I was talking to my pops about the show and movie, some of the movies we talked about were Cooley High. Then people might not know these cultural movies, Dazed and Confused, like, movies that all bring a certain style. And so I didn't have to think that up. But what's so powerful is like, you get this is what I mean by creativity, human creativity and AI creativity. Anybody telling you different is an illusion. It's like it's made up. It's an arbitrary cut. The only difference is in degrees of sophistication and numbers of theaters included, meaning other places in life that you're pulling from for inspiration. So in this scenario, it grabbed movies. Some of them are not ones I would have thought of. Some of them are. But then I can say, you know what? Let me go ahead and get this here. So with this style, then I can say, let's do some gene splicing. So we're about to do some gene splicing. Boom. We got White Castles during that time period. Now it's looking a little funky. It's not fully perfect because the cars are a little mix of the times, but you see how like they captured some of that vibe. Now I can say, can you add in these styles to the scene from these movies? We just gene spliced. You see what I mean? Like the stuff I'm showing you is so like easy and simple concept. It's ridiculous. So like you don't have to feel like you're learning rocket science. So with that said, we just did one, we did two together. I wanted to just open up the floor now, just to get questions. Everyone share any feedback or anything you want to discuss. Be sure to raise your hands. Maybe I'll or come off mute and we'll try to work through them each one by one. All right. So we got let me move this out the way. Spraya, you can go ahead. I think I don't know. Do we have mute turned off still? Sorry. Or we let people go off mute on mute. I think that's they're working on it. I think the team's working on it. So for I think Paola and Nagar, we gotta let it so people can unmute so speak. I know we got a question. We can put okay, I think we fixed it. Shout out to the team. You should be able to come off Sprayers, maybe.
It's working, yes.
Yay. Thanks.
Thank
Appreciate you,
you.
Nagar. So, amazing.
Thank
Paola.
you. I wanted to ask, there is I don't know if you've used Google AI Studio a lot, but a lot of times trying to work with the essence of different styles or trying to splice in things that exist or, give prompts that may replicate any sort of work that exists or maybe ask for like a generation of a human in any sort of content, it sometimes trips some sort of safety protocol. I don't know, and the content gets blocked. And I've had this happen multiple times, and I was wondering if you had any advice on how to deal with something like this.
Oh yeah, it's a landmine out there. It's horrible. I get it. It's like the companies are in a rock and a hard place because this technology is society changing. Like there's no way this is going to be normal when like everything on the internet can be made up. Anything you see in the world, unless you see it in your real eyes, you know it could be fake and there's no way to tell the difference. So we're there. So the problem that they have is they have to put in all these like legal safety features, but it generally makes the product bad most of the time. I'm just gonna keep it 100 with you because like
Mm-hmm.
what they're doing is they're watering down the capability to make it safer. So like right now, you used to be able to, in some of the older models, ask it to predict who would win a fight in a boxing match or
Mm-hmm.
um NFL team would go to their Super Bowl. Now it'll say a generic message like, I can't make predictions on the future. It's like,
Yeah, I
bro, like,
understand.
come on, what are you doing? Or ma'am, whoever, like, what are we doing? You know what I mean? So I will say
Yeah.
that to you, it's going to be a navigation. But what you can see is I was able to work around it because I'm doing advanced staking. So I can get the
But
AI down a train of thought. And it's initially called like hacking. Is there's just a lot of like
mm-hmm.
social engineering with these prompts. But the
Mm-hmm.
reason why I get less of that is because I'm asking it to follow a train of thought first. And then you
Mm-hmm.
notice I inject after.
Yeah,
So
I
already on a
understand.
path. But I'll pause there. Hopefully, I answered your question.
Kind of. And there was just one more thing. I also wanted to ask between the different techniques that you shared today, so the text description, the image splicing, or the video splicing, what do you find in your experience works best in terms of the results?
They all have strengths and weaknesses. And the only reason why I know it's like I like them all, but the reason why is because the tools are changing. Like the way I used to use Sora,
Yeah.
different completely than I use Nano Banana.
Oh, yeah, I noticed the prompts have to be very different for different tools.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and like even between versions. So like it's kind of like you're constantly just evolving with the tools. And
Mm-hmm.
your projects are gonna be bound to that time frame, which is not a bad thing. It's like, in its worst, it is bad because you ever watch like a movie from a certain time frame, it just looks like that time frame. Either you with it or you're not. So like say
Okay.
for example, black and white films. If it's a black and white film, all the films from that time period, they have that same look, no matter what you do. And so like
Mm-hmm.
that's gonna happen with the tools at the time are going to make the look. But if you play within that frame or within that illusion of skills and sets, that's what all art is.
Mm-hmm.
Like all art is playing within the bounds of an illusion that conveys the idea. And that's what you'll do here. So I just, it's no get out of jail free card with them, but I use them all interchangeably to get results and make the general style just feel a mix of stuff.
Okay. I understand. Thank you.
Yeah. No, I gave a lot of time, to you because I appreciate you attending and giving me time to even attend these sessions. So thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, we got a bunch more here. Questions have queued up. I see we got these are detailed examples to go back and review are great. I love to see how to do video now. Okay, maybe I'll leave more questions in the chat and then if anybody else wants to come off, maybe do one question, I'll maybe give a second here.
Sam, can you check out the last question from Charlie?
Oh, show us how the image was updated. There we go. So you see how I took that previous one and put a little bit of flare on it and it extrapolated out to multiple images from that one that I got. Now, doing the Coolie High jacket, and I know from some of those movies. Now, again, this was just me using free image generator from, ChatGPT. What I would doing is like using a cool. I'll be using different tools. I'll use Nano Banana. I'll jump around. There's tons that we're going to be bringing to you over the coming weeks with the new sessions we got. But the core is now that I got these multiple pictures, I can just take screenshots of these pictures too. This is where maybe it goes full circle. Um, Using those images and you generate me the details for three potential video scenes I could make. And then once I get those scenes, now again, this is where we're taking it over to the video side. Let me hide this. See how it sets all that context for me. Boom, I got a scene. All right, so I can take that scene, and then what I'm essentially either going to do is extrapolate from this first. So ask it to break down this scene. Can you break down this scene more so that an AI video can replicate it easily with user high efficacy? And then I'll click on that. You see, like that's recursion. I'm taking the output from one to put it back in another to make another to then make four more. And then once I take all of them, I take all four more. That's the nature of the game here. So I'm taking that. And then when I get this, I can then take this new one and open it up in and make sure you all can see my screen still. Okay, you can see me switching. Okay, perfect. So while that's going, I can go to Luma Dream Machine. Go. There you go. So now I'm going here. Again, I just literally took from ChatGPT the results. So if I go back to where we were, it was generating these details for this scene. I can take that scene, go back in here, paste that, boom, and then ask it to make one. Or I could take that, paste it, and then take one of the images that I got from before. Go here, move these out the way, boom. If anybody wants to come off mute, I'll go back and do another question real quick while this is loading. Here, I'll do another one real quick. Move it out the way. Perfect. All right, got that. Oh, gotta love it. Out of credits. Always fun. But you see the idea here. I throw that in there. Boom. And this is why, like, some of the things we're going to be bringing are really going to be powerful for this space, which is, access to credits. So I'm saving some surprises. I'll announce them on the session Thursday. So if you attend session Thursday, you'll get some updates on that. But the key is we are providing the ability for you to get access to these tools because that's critical. Like the main issue is like to do this on your own. you're going to be spending so many nickel and dimes just getting, you got to subsidize this at this point just to get that speed of use. So we're going to be trying to help and support that with access to multiple AI tools, etc., coming through the academy. So expect more to come soon there. But the main thing is you'll see that like I'm just taking the same techniques and applying them back and forth between image, video, and text. All right, bringing it home. So, final words. Maybe any questions? Any more people? I'll open up the chat. Maybe one more if anyone has anything. People like to take more video sessions. Okay, we'll see what we can do here. I'll let you all see. This is where we're going to be closing out. So this week we end most with vibe sessions, unless you all just like send a bunch of messages or reply to the survey or let Paula know somehow y'all want more of these vibe sessions. We are going to end them this week. So the last one is Thursday. So, I don't know how much you all want more of this. It's already been a lot, so it's your call. But if you guys want it, we'll do more. But as of now, we're gonna end the sessions,
The future of AI.
and then we're gonna be moving to um launch vibe method. So I'll show you here for those that did maybe see, it might be your first session. You'll get a chance to see it. I'm gonna give it on the screen here, and then I'm gonna and then I'm gonna share this. All right, boom. It's acting weird. Okay, boom. Okay, so what you can see now is now that we've covered, everything, the last week, if we have a lot of demand, again, somehow we get a lot of feedback that says, hey, we want it, we might do another week. Maybe we'll cover maybe one more video and then one more web app session. Maybe we'll see kind of where that lands. But outside of that, we'll be doing Vibe methods as our main core thing that continues until the next set of courses launch at the end of the month. So there's going to be a little bit of a time period where we're no longer doing these Vibe sessions. Vibe methods will be live. So you can take a look at that right now. And then I'll open up and stick around for anybody who has any questions as we close out.
The future of AI artists.
Not be the one to build artificial intelligence.
Vibe methods, it's coming. It's here. It's live actually. New episode drops on the 9th. I will announce that Paola's going to be sharing the link. So if you want to get into Vibe methods, we're going to go deeper. So you'll get working examples, actual tools. We're making free to use tools like what you saw with we did before with free LLM. We're doing that with tons of other tools. So imagine free video generation tools. You'll be able to use image generation tools. So there's so much coming. And what's exciting is with Vibe methods, with it being weekly and it's like tight, and I get to really deliver the content in a way that's not live. I get to like provide as much as detail there. We're gonna go to space. So we are charging $10 per week for this. So this is the initial kind of base kind of setup. You'll be able to, get additional ways to like set up your agreement with us. Like, so if you want to do an annual, like you just pay once a year, have access to all the things that we're gonna be bringing, like one-on-one sessions. where you'll be able to get sessions with us booked and we can walk you through your journey. So I know so many people have reached out and said, we want one-on-one support in ways that we can get access to. If you just want access to the free tools, you can become a pro user, for example. Let's just say and get, access to, you know, thousands of dollars of AI tools like upfront, discounts, things like that. So like I'm trying to make it so like you are only limited by your ambition. And so that's where this project is really exciting. I couldn't do it without every one of you. The Vibe Methods, you'll be able to participate in that. We'll be sharing the link in the follow-up survey with all the details and the recording of all of the last 7 Vibe sessions that we've done. Hey, with that said, I want to thank
The
everybody
future of AI artists.
as we have like just covered so much, right? I've had fun. Y'all have fun? Okay, yeah, I'll touch on free LLM at some point. That's a good point. In Vibe Methods, I cover it specifically, but I'm gonna try to squeeze something in there for just those kind of tools in general. Because what's I'm able to do is we're able to run language models and vision models in your browser. But the vision models are really large right now. I think the smallest one is like 2 GB. So it needs to have 2 GB in your cache to run. So it's not practical for everybody, but the language models are practical. So that's what you'll see, like stuff like free LLM. We'll make a free version of Lovable. We're working on like other just free versions of AI generation tools, anything language based for sure. So we're gonna have some fun. Awesome. Thanks everybody. I'm gonna wrap us up. My goal is not to keep you forever and try to get these to be tighter. I was over